We pray for a minute, boy. Pray for a minute, boy. Ooh, no, 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 no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blessings. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up. Daddy fixing up some breakfast while I make up what I make up on. Everything is blessed between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look aside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence arrive. So we can be where we want to be. Just remember where we're coming from, it's I can show you the way. Mother colony, queen, sincere, I love and cherish her. Together we stand, together we stand in harmony. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible. Red for the black man, One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible, yeah. Imagine dancing in the rain like it's normal. If you catch the cold, no worry, no excuse, we could pick some light. Drink a little, everything will be just fine. It's the island life, so make me tell you now. My dream, night breeze. We could even walk the beach, sun in my Nikes. We could eat some baba cakes, sweet and it irie. Sparkling waters, are you excited? It's the moment in time when I realize our history saying we was born to survive. Yeah. So nobody tell me otherwise. In that this a paradise, now come to with a bag of lines. Culture prevails when the love stays the same. A nation that prays it will always remain. Yeah. And that's why we have to put aside foolish minds and remember me say, one love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you, it would have been impossible, yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you, it would have been impossible. From a land of freedom fighters, educators, readers, writers, in this crazy, crazy world, we're a black gold. And the children growing up are just diamonds in the rough. Would you guide them? Let them know they're black gold. Hold on, wait for a minute, think it's Nevis. Bless me if you pray for a minute, boy. Pray for a minute, boy. Ooh, no, 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 no. Yeah. Blessings. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up. Daddy fixing up some breakfast while I make up what I make up on. Everything is blessed between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look aside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence arrive. So we can be where we want to be. Just remember where we're coming from, it's I can show you the way. Mother colony, queen, sincere, I love and cherish her. Together we stand in harmony. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that it would have been impossible. Red for the black man, yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that would have been impossible, yeah. Imagine dancing in the rain like it's normal. If you catch the cold, no worry, no excuse, we could pick some light. Drink a little, everything will be just fine. It's the island life, so make me tell you now. My dream, night breeze. We could even walk the beach, sun in my Nikes. We could eat some baba cakes, sweet and it ivory. Sparkling waters, are you excited? It's the moment in time when I realize our history saying we was born to survive. Yeah. So nobody tell me otherwise. In that this a paradise. Don't come to with a bag of lines. Country prevails when the love stays the same. A nation that prays it will always remain. Yeah. And that's why we have to put aside foolish minds and remember me say one love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you it would have been impossible. Yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you it would have been impossible.
From a land of freedom fighters, educators, readers, writers, in this crazy, crazy world where black gold. And the children growing up are just diamonds in the rough. Would you guide them? Let them know they're black gold.
Imagine hold on, wait for a minute, think it's Nevis. Bless me, have to pray for a minute, boy. Pray for a minute, boy. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up. Daddy fixing up some breakfast while my makeup, put some makeup on. Everything is blessed between the two islands, so we're giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look inside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence, alright.
So we can be where we want to be.
Just remember where we're coming from, and I can show you the way.
Mother colony, Queen City, I love and cherish you. Together we stand, together we stand in harmony.
One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you it would have been impossible. Yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you would have been impossible. Yeah. Imagine dancing in the rain like it's normal. If you catch the cold, no worry, no excuse, we could pick some light. Drink a little, everything will be just fine. It's the island life, so make me tell you now. My dream, night breeze. We could even walk the beach, sun in my Nikes. We could eat some baba cakes, sweet and it ivory. Sparkling waters, are you excited? It's the moment in time when I realize our history saying we was born to survive. Yeah. So nobody tell me otherwise. In that this a paradise. Don't come to with a bag of lines. Country prevails when the love stays the same. A nation that prays it will always remain. Yeah. And that's why we have to put aside foolish minds and remember me say one love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you it would have been impossible. Yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know without you it would have been impossible.
From a land of freedom fighters, educators, readers, writers, in this crazy, crazy world where black gold. And the children growing up are just diamonds in the rough. Would you guide them? Let them know they're black gold.
sniffs, bless me, if you pray for a minute, boy. Pray for a minute, boy. Ooh, no, 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 no. Yeah. Blessings. Imagine early in the morning when you wake up. Daddy fixing up some breakfast while my makeup, but I makeup on. Everything is blessed between the two islands, so we giving thanks. We don't have to check the weather channel for the status. Take a look aside, I know right, the sun is always there on time. 1983 upon this fertile soil, independence arrive. So we can be where we want to be. Just remember where we're coming from, and I can show you the way. Mother colony, queen city, I love and cherish her. Together we stand, together we stand. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that you would have been impossible. Right for that man, yeah. One love, one federation. God bless my little nations, and you know it that you.
we're singing. Oh, we can't turn back. We've come this far by faith. We've come this far by faith. Leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He's never failed us yet. That's why we're singing. Oh, we can't turn back. We've come this far by faith. We've come this far by faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Watley. I wish I could sing like that, but nope, doesn't happen. We have to always remember faith. You don't know what's going to happen, but you have to remember faith. We will now have a dance by one of our graduates, Miss Janice Rogers. So, Janice, you're up.
Voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I'm falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I am falling short. When I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your
And that in the class.
feet.
Applause for Miss Janice. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now that I can do, I can dance. So we will now have the principal's, the school song, sorry. Almost forgot that. So we'll have the school song, and it will be sung by the school children. Stand. Stand, please. I guess I have to raise it. We build our school on thee, O Lord. Loving art the helpful word, the tender thought, the kindly deed. With these we pray the Spirit fed, and bless our soul always. We work together in thy sight, together in thy love. Our Father in heaven, and lift our thoughts to heaven above. Dear Lord, we pray thy Spirit may repent in our school always. Although we chance to keep it just, make them pure. If thou art with us, Lord, we must be faithful. Dear Lord, we pray thy Spirit may be present in our school always. We change, but thou art still the same book, master, teacher, friend. We hear thy name to journey with to the end. And so we pray the Spirit may be present in our school always. Thank you. Please be seated. We will now have the principal's report by Ms. Peter Gay Crawford, principal of the school.
Reverend Mark Christmas, chairman of the school board, and his wife, the beautiful Reverend Stasia Christmas, school chaplain, Reverend Tyrone Hunkins, and his even more beautiful daughter, our chairperson for this afternoon, Miss Andrea Liberd, our guest speaker, Mr. Curtis Martin, teachers, parents, well-wishers, the graduating class of 2020, good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. The 2019-2020 school year will definitely be one for the history books. It has been and still is a turbulent one. However, amidst the challenges, we rode out the storm. The school year began seemingly well on September 6, 2019. It showed much promise as parents brought our students, all 259 of them, to the school's gate, 141 males and 118 females, and wished them a blessed day. As I stood at the gate that morning, I observed happiness, whether it was the new items bought for school or the prospects expected for the new term. I could not tell you, and to be honest, I did not ask. Our 14 teachers, one library teacher, secretary, and 2 ancillary workers met them with open arms as they came into a clean, newly renovated and painted space to begin the academic year. The promise of the 2019-2020 school year was ripe for picking as teachers were redeployed and hired to fill the gap created with the retirement of Mr. Warder. Our grade 6 teacher, Ms. Dolphin, was redeployed to work alongside Mr. Clark, and Ms. Eurydice Brown was taken on staff for grade 5. Mr. Clark's and Mrs. Dolphin's union was a match made in heaven. No, people, I don't want you to think any way, no. I'm talking about the teachers' match that was made in heaven. So don't think anything. They both complemented each other with their personal skills, styles, and talents. Our teachers continued to heighten their knowledge in differentiated instructions and met each student at their level and stage, imparting the curriculum to push them further in achieving the targeted goals. As a school, we embarked on the use of technology across the board, as teachers use games, online stories, videos, and tutorials to cement concepts taught and learned. There were major renovations done within the library, as the layout was changed to facilitate students being seated. We once again thank National Bank of St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla for their generous contribution of 6 desktop computers, which are being used constantly by both teachers and students. We would have also received 35 student desks and chairs, and also a teacher's desk and chair, courtesy of the Ministry of Education, as we seek to develop a partnership which will inevitably cater to the needs of students attending Maurice Hillier and the citizens of St. Kitts at large. For the 2019-2020 school year, we experimented with semi-streaming. The students in grades 5 and 6, and parents, I stand here today, living testimony, to tell you, the stakeholders, that it was a success. Even more relevant here today, our grade 6 teachers took on a task that most teachers of other grades thought impossible. In all my years as an educator, grades 4 and 6, every single year, would be dubbed by the teacher the worst students they have ever met. Parents, I am happy to have had the pleasure of meeting this present grade 6 sitting here today. That was a compliment. You can clap. Both teachers held down the fort. And I'm going to talk the business now. Mrs. Dolphin was the mother hen who took your children under her wings. And I can tell you, parents, she was never afraid to administer discipline. She would tell Coy on a regular basis that she was going to wring his neck if he doesn't behave, or so that he can finish his work in a timely manner. She oftentimes told to Hillier, she would snap her like a twig while I sat in my office and smiled. Because I knew that Mrs. Dolphin loved those students, and they in turn loved her back. Mr. Clark was a little bit different. He was the cool parent. Nothing bothered him much. However, when he decided to administer discipline, you know that something terribly went wrong. I watched these students grow under the guidance of the teachers, from writing a 3-line story to one that had 3 paragraphs. And I would pause to say, this is because of our hard-working teachers. Throughout the course of the year, although short, we participated in several national competitions. And as I call the student's name, I just want you to stand so that the others can see who you are. Nicole Dorr represented the institution well in the national spelling bee competition and was placed in the top 10. Our team of 3 to 4 students participated in the Nestle Consumer Affair quiz competition and was beaten by 1 point for the first position. Could those students please stand for me? This school year, we were very proud of our boys as our footballers worked hard, winning all but 2 matches for 4th place. And I must say that this was the first time that they ended on such a good note. Could my footballers please stand? Maurice Hillier was the only school with a female on the team, and I think the boys tried their best to protect her. We ended competition on a high note in March. We presently hold the 5th consecutive title of the National Bank Private Primary and Secondary School Championship. I did not get the response I wanted. Let me say it again. We ended competition in March and presently hold the 5th consecutive title of the National Bank Private Primary and Secondary School Championship. We went out as warriors and were victorious. While it saddened our hearts throughout the 2019-2020 school year, Ms. Richards and Ms. Stanley left us for greener pastures. And while we regretted them leaving, we wished them well. We, however, gained 2 teachers who fitted in as though they were always there. Mrs. Margaret Webb, who was placed on the grade 1 class. Mr. Emmanuel, please forgive me. And Mr. Chibueze Ihagarenya Emmanuel, who we decided to just call Mr. Emmanuel for obvious reasons. We embarked on a student leadership program which entails clean school ambassadors, student librarians, and prefects. Students were trained and given all the skill sets to lead their peers, which we hope as an institution that they will carry on through to their future endeavors. I would like to highlight Mrs. Richardson, who is the teacher responsible for the student librarians, Ms. Ordain, the prefects, and Ms. Liber, the Clean School ambassadors. I would like to give special thanks to Mrs. Etienne, for taking up the task of preparing the athletes for the championship. Clap the teachers, them man. Miss UNESCO Lawrence, who is one of our teacher assistants, for taking charge of the Parent Day activity. In November, we had our first Parent Day, where parents were invited to come, to eat, and to have fun. As a teacher assistant, she took the bull by the horns and took over completely, and I was very pleased about that. So give her another round of applause. She's not here today, but Miss Herbert, who did an excellent job with the assistance of Miss Noel to plan and executing a lovely Black History Month program. Miss Ordain for planning our Christmas program. I continue to thank each and every teacher on staff for the nurturing and training of the students of Epworth Maurice Hillier Memorial Junior School. Despite many struggles we had, it has been and always will be a blessing working with each and every one of you. I have to say that during this COVID situation, my teachers really stepped up. A lot of my teachers are not necessarily computer savvy, and they stepped up to the plate and did an excellent job in the efforts of educating your children. I'm very happy and I'm very pleased with their accomplishments. Parents, this ceremony here today is not the end. It is but one rung on the ladder towards each and every one of their successes. The work has just started and will need your vigilance. You need to ensure that you are visible in the educational lives of your children. This grade 6, there are a lot of plans made for them. We had a lot of programs for them to see how well we could have lifted them up to the standard that we needed. And I must say that I am disappointed with the fact that we did not get a chance to see the end result. We placed everything in these children for this year. My grade 6 babies. Miss Welsh, where is she? Just put your hand up. My extra fat baby. She is, I must say that she's such a pleasant child. I have fallen madly in love with her. She's such an adorable child. There's really no words to really express, and I have made it a habit to sing something to you I won't. I won't. I fear, though, that if I start to sing, I would start to cry. It was a pleasure, as I would have said before, meeting each and every one of you. And even though you will be leaving us at Maurice Hillier, my expectations are that going on to your next school, that you'll make me proud. I hope that you will conduct yourself in such a manner that persons will say, yes, man, that child is a well-mannered child, you know. Yeah, she's from Maurice Hillier, you know. They do great things down there. You have to be our ambassadors. And so when you go out there, you represent us accordingly. Thank you very much for being a part of this journey with me. Have a blessed and wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Yes, they are a pleasure. We will now have some remarks from Reverend Mark Christmas.
Good afternoon, parents, teachers, graduates. Allow me to adopt the protocol established and to greet us as we meet for this, the 23rd commencement ceremony under the theme, Amidst the Challenges, Let Us Power for the Fight. The St. Kitts Circuit of Methodist Churches has the privilege and awesome responsibility of exercising stewardship over the Epworth Maurice Hillier Memorial Junior School, the school that opened its doors some 67 years ago. Despite the many challenges and near closures over the years, we can say thanks to God, the school is still here. We may ask ourselves, what challenges? The challenges of space, of finances, of underperformance in some years, of differently abled students, poor parenting, outdated pedagogies, teacher retention and training amidst a changing society. But how did the school power up to meet these challenges? By capitalizing on our strengths, our history, our dedicated board, staff, and parents, our energetic students, and our faithful God. However, these challenges are now compounded by the presence of the coronavirus pandemic. And so we ask the question, how then do we plan to power up? Going forward, coupled with those strengths that I just mentioned, innovation and a broader support network will have to play a greater role. But where does that leave youth? The graduating class of 2020. You are leaving the physical and recently virtual classroom, with the uncertainty of whether you will enter a physical or virtual classroom at the next phase of your journey, or both, as we now speak of a blended approach in teaching the students. Uncertain whether it would make sense for your parents to purchase uniforms at this stage. Uncertain about new friendships, whether they would be physical or virtual. Would there be opportunity to meet your new teachers face to face? Of course, the uncertainties of the future could be challenging. However, challenges are simply that, challenges. They form opportunities for us to find creative ways of meeting and or overcoming those challenges while growing in the process. Here's where all that you have learned to this point comes to the fore. Your years at the Epworth Maurice Hillier Memorial Junior School formed part of your training years. It is where you began to refine your skills, not only in your subjects, but also in your life skills. It is where you were taught the rules of the English language alongside the need for punctuality. It is where you were exposed to the rules of math in addition to the need to be hardworking. It is where you were drilled in the laws of science alongside the need to be law-abiding. It is where you were coached in the techniques of writing in addition to the need to be honest. It is where you practice the procedures of library skills alongside the need to practice good personal hygiene. It is where you ran through the plays of various sporting activities, even as you learned about teamwork. It is where you learned to apply the whole armor of God in your daily struggles of life. How well you were prepared is about to be tested in a world that is fast transitioning. The other board members, Reverend Tyrone Hunkins, Reverend Telford Matthew, Reverend Stacia Williams Christmas, the school's chaplain, Dr. Robertine Chatterton, Mr. Christopher McMahon, circuit stewards, Miss Peter Gay Crawford, principal, Miss Danny Maynard, the legal counsel, Miss Michelle Sutton, the education officer, Miss Nadine Fifield, secretary to the board, Mrs. Angela Lewis, PTA president, Miss Rublin Odin Bursa, Mrs. Marilyn Bertie, the circuit representative, and Mrs. Patricia Hodge, teacher representative invited. Join me in thanking you, the parents and guardians, in entrusting your child into our care over the years. We now say goodbye. We now say so long, and we now wish them well. And so they join me also in praying for you, the graduates, the best God offers you as you aim high in all aspects of your lives. I take the phrase, the word, congratulations, class of 2020. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Christmas. We will now have a skit by the students of grade 6.
As the second term draws close to an end, the Maurice Hillier Memorial Junior School, at the Maurice Hillier Junior Memorial School, the students have now gotten word of the COVID-19 pandemic hitting the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. As the word spreads throughout the school, a few grade 6 students assemble on the outside to say their final goodbyes. After school has been closed for 3 months, the students are now excited for their class graduation. As they gather for their final grand dress rehearsal, the students share and express their COVID experiences. Let's take a listen.
Sometimes I sleepy and before I net in come the Zoom call. Class 30 page 3. I fell off. I will fell off.
But is it really that bad? To me, I think COVID is a blessing. Imagine, no test of staggered, no school from 8 to 3. So my problem really be.
You're right. Maybe it's a blessing. But Lord, please let's let that go to our boy. That should put kind of frighten me. Boy, you too.
I'm just glad that we are able to at least have a graduation because while COVID may have changed everything, it brought some good blessings for all of us.
COVID has taught me that friends and family are important.
COVID has taught me the importance of health.
COVID has taught me the importance of technology.
COVID has taught me the importance of socializing. COVID has taught me that all lives matter. COVID has taught me the importance of cherishing memories because everything can change in a blink of an eye. COVID has taught us as the university former, we will be aiming for the highest.
Wow. COVID has taught us a lot, even the children. Thank you for that beautiful skit. Thanks to the young gentleman who wrote it and helped our children to put it over so well. We will now have the introduction of our guest speaker by grade 6 teacher, Mr. Hilton Clark. Mr. Clark?
Good afternoon to all. Allow me to adopt the protocol established. My duty is very, very brief. As I introduce the speaker, Curtis Martin, to the task of introducing the guest of honor and speaker is a very simple one. He prefers to be simply introduced as Curtis Martin. He believes that Robert Einstein was right when he said things should be made as simple as possible and not simpler. Therefore, sit back and listen to his brief keynote themed address amidst the challenges. Let's power up to fight. I now present to you our guest speaker, Curtis Martin.
Good afternoon to everybody. Before I get started in my presentation, I just want to do two exercises which actually feeds into my presentation. The first one, I've given the students a blank sheet of paper. Can you raise your sheets of paper in the air, please? Right. I want you to promise me that you will not cheat this exercise. If you're not going to cheat the exercise, say, I promise.
I promise.
Can't hear you.
I promise.
All right, close your eyes. Fold the paper in half. And put a crease in it, crease it, put a crease in it. Fold it in half, do it quickly. Now holding it together, tear off a corner. In other words, rip off a corner. With your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. You finish doing that? Fold the paper in half again. Not the piece to tear off, the main piece. Fold it in half again and crease it. Do it quickly. So this is your second folding. Tear off another corner. Don't be afraid to tear it, don't be afraid to tear it, just tear it. There's no wrong and right way, just tear it. Fold the paper again, one more time. In half. And tear another corner. If you're having problems tearing, there's a set of utensils you carry, we call them teeth. Fold the paper one more time. Last time. They said that the paper can only be folded 7 times. But we're only going to 4. Tear off the final corner. Remember the head teacher said, you loved a challenge. So you have to show me that is indeed a challenge this afternoon. We're speaking of challenges. Once you've finished tearing off the 4th time, you can open your eyes and open your paper. Hold up your paper in the air once you just hold it up in the air like this. Hold it up, don't be afraid. Stand up. Hold your paper in the air. Look around, do you see anyone with the same shape as you? You had the same instructions. Okay, here's what I want you to do for me. Open your eyes, young man, in front here. Open your eyes. You see yourself. Open your eyes. We almost forgot it. Open your eyes. Yes. You can stand. Open your paper. I want you to take the paper, which actually, untouched, would have been a symbolic gift to someone in these chambers. I want you to take the paper to one of your parents, or the parent who's here, and give them a nice hug and kiss. Do that for me quickly. If you have both parents, make sure you greet them, please. Don't leave out anybody. Parents stand, parents stand, parents stand, parents stand and let them, hug you nicely. Make sure you find your parents. Meanwhile, I want all of the male parents to form a circle around the benches. All of the male parents to form a circle around the benches. Yeah, just hug them and kiss them and come back quickly to your seat. I want all the male parents form a circle around the benches. All the male parents, social distance, spread yourself around these benches, the two sets of, so these columns, this column, and those in the back. So just come up, don't be afraid, come up. Those of you on the left over here, on the right. Come around, come around. All the men, all the men, all the men, all the men. Yes. Those at the front here, just face the students. Come around. That's all the males we have. All the male parents. Those of you upstairs. Students, you should be back on your seats quickly. You have any more? You have one more coming? Good. Reverend Christmas, can you come a second? Can you just offer a very short prayer for the men in the circle? We're calling it the circle of love. All right?
Let us bow our heads in prayers and pray for the men, the parents. Gracious God, we lift up the fathers of the graduates this afternoon, graduating class 2020. Even as they stand, we know that your presence now will abide with them. They are standing as symbols that they have been, they will be, and continue to stand with their child for the help to bring into this world. It's not about the praises. It's about the hard work that they have done. As they encircle their graduates, their children, may be a circle of love unbroken, even as you surround them by your own circle of love. With them, their children, and their children's mother. Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Ladies, can you give the men a round of applause, please? Gentlemen, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Master of Ceremony, Sandra Lively, Reverend Mark Christmas, Chairman of the School Board, Reverend Stasio Williams Christmas, School's Chaplain, Principal Miss Petter? Gail Crawford, parents, teachers, invited guests, graduates. Today, I am absolutely delighted to be here. However, I must be honest that coming to terms with presenting the keynote address was very difficult because I had to choose within an open topic an area that I want to focus on. And so, perhaps it was divine because what I've heard today, especially from Reverend Christmas and the principal, really had targeted the students. So I want to pitch my presentation to the parents to speak to the students through the parents who should have a handle on the lives of their child or children. So here goes. And I'll speak as quickly as I can so that I can be where I was before I started. Today we stand nervous on the edge of uncertainty, crowded with an unprecedented killer disease we call COVID-19, or one of the deadliest pandemics in the 21st century, despite our triumph in medicine and much-treated gains in human existence. COVID has brought the world's economy to a halt, at least for a while. Sadly, we are still buffering from the harsh reality abroad to nations throughout the world and our very own engines of growth and national development here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Everything these days seems to have a limited time, effort, and prescription. Our graduates here this afternoon have been severely affected and impacted in so many ways. School was interrupted for them, and they spent countless hours and days locked away from being among their classmates and peers. You heard them for yourself. They faced corona, extra work, and test of standards. Moreover, our students were not able to complete the full school term, and I'm certain that many had difficulties adapting to the online learning effort as a result of varying reasons. Despite these unexpected and very sharp setbacks in the end, they are able to be graduating today and moving on to a new chapter in their young, flourishing lives. At this point, I should also state that given the social distancing and mask-wearing advisory protocols that are still in place, it is perhaps a wise gesture for me to speak up and shut up as quickly as I can. However, it will be remiss of me to forget to sincerely thank the leadership of Maurice Hillier, Epworth School, formerly, for warmly giving me the opportunity to bring a keynote message on the pen theme. Secondly,
I want to encourage somebody to
of parents, guardians, teachers, sponsors, and well-wishers for the 23rd edition of the Maurice Hillier Commencement Ceremony. It is very important for us to celebrate the successes of our children in whatever way we can. We have a lot to be thankful for. God has spared us and our children thus far, and His divine mercy and love are sufficient to get us past the challenges and adversity we face daily. He is the maker and the breaker. Therefore, we must pause to give Him our fervent thanks and appreciation in all that we do. This vividly reminds me of the simple prayer of thanksgiving I have taught my 3-year-old daughter to say daily. Dear Lord, thank you for a lovely day. Amen. As I stand here as a birth child of the year 1970, and knowing that my days of growing up were never easy, and seeing the tremendous gains we now call privileges and rights unfold through these years, it is as clear as day that we have come a very long way. We have moved from pots, plain old telephone service, to pans, pretty amazing new stuff. With a rapid rise in innovation through technology and the arrival of various forms of social media platforms. We have also moved from the borehole toilets, thatch and wooden houses, fighting for our rights to own a piece of the rock, selective education opportunities, and yearning for the means to lead our country for ourselves. Today we stand in a better place, with more opportunities to embrace the onslaught of the varying shades in human development and everyday living we now enjoy. Who would have thought that we can now boast of being able to transact business by the stroke of a key and the efficiency of working away from home, away from work, working from home. However, perhaps against this backdrop, I can now depart to bring into life the other realities that continue to burden our efforts in word and deed. We certainly have more at our disposal, but we have lost a lot of personal chemistry and emotional intelligence needed to and for our children. Every day, we fight each other in so many ways that it makes us wonder if we even stand a chance of becoming a united people. Here are some other real daily challenges for us to consider and cease turning a blind eye to if we are to make a better way for these children and their future. 1. Broken homes and families. The family circle is in dire need of repair, and if we are to make a better headway for our children, we have habitually eclipsed the fathers and dads who continue to make the unsung daily effort to make a difference in the lives of their children. Regrettably, these good men fall in the shadows of the worthless vagabonds with the broad thinking brush and acclamation by our women that all men are bad. Nothing is further from the truth. For today we have among us an army of men who show up for the cause of raising their children through supporting them and the noblest form of socialization known to man, the school and its teachers. Today I want us to celebrate the fathers here and away who have played their role regardless of their status with the other parent